we're back. Another day, another, well, maybe not a dollar, maybe a couple of dollars, hopefully, by the time we're done with everything we're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
But judging by how things went with the debate, it may be a while until they give us any traction back. So, in the meantime and in between time, let me get Facebook up and running here. All right, Facebook is up. Now, it's a twofold show today, people. The first part is going to go fairly quickly because it won't be very difficult to put this dummy to rest. However, I want people to be aware of these types of people because they want to pose, as Malcolm would say, your friend. And we want to let people know how to find a racist, how to identify one. And to begin, what they normally do is this, statements like this. Please point out where I called you ignorant. I literally said, not you personally. Stop it. That's a Trump thing to play victim. I spoke in general terms for a reason. Plus, I was simply interested in your take, not inquiring about the bill. I know it expanded voting rights. Now, I'll give you a little bit of a background. I made a video, and somebody put a derogatory comment up about wanting to buck break me. So I replied to it and mentioned that this particular person was a follower of a one person that we talked about, Snaggletooth himself. Well, white liberals thought that I was talking about Trump, and this was one of Trump's followers, and jumped right into the fray, dogging the fact that Trump, people in Trump this, and I keep telling them, but a Democrat said this.
Yeah.
like a staunch Democrat said the statement. And this one guy chimed in, and his initial statement, I'm going to read the initial statement that he made because I want to give him a fair shake. Well, kinda. I don't really want to, but we'll see. He said, let me get the right location here, because he bombarded my comment section. I think he's somewhere in the region of 130 comments deep by now.
Damn.
Easily 130 comments deep. Let me find it because it's hard to
comments.
It is a lot of comments.
So I wanted to say that, like, isn't it generally the left that is always playing the victim? Like, I don't know how they said, like, Trump's always playing the victim, and it's like, no, because he is, though. Like, I mean, look at all the things that are happening to him, and like, they literally trying to destroy this man's life any way they possibly can, and you're saying he's not allowed to say he's a victim,
say that he is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Whereas you have people that aren't actually victims that cry victim all the time. Like, how many hate crime hoaxes in the United States have we had that have been debunked over and over again?
That's typical of the left. They do it all the time. You know, they attack, and the minute you hit them where it hurts, now they're the victim. They cry.
Help! I'm being oppressed. Stop hitting me.
This was his statement. Literally, zero trumpets are equipped with even a tiny sense of irony, let alone a keen sense. Ironically, a sense of irony accompanies intelligence. DT only attracts the most ignorant and gullible among us. Now let's go back to his statement. Please point out where I called you.
Oh my God,
Please
man.
point out where
Well,
I
you
called
have to be a
ignorant.
goldfish to forget what you just said a second ago.
He said, I said literally not you. You didn't say literally not me. It gets progressively more hilarious.
Oh, really?
Oh yes. I'm gonna bring up this one here. I have nearly every one of his things put here. So no, you didn't notice anything. I literally told you I won't, because I told him I posted a response to his statements about me, and he said he won't watch it because its responses if I'm begging for validation from people who are as gullible as I am. I wanted dialogue. You're too immature and disingenuous too. Now, my question to everyone in audience land, would that be considered calling someone ignorant?
Yes, and gullible.
But as you said, Please point out where I called you ignorant. Oh,
Your
we're gonna
entire
keep pointing it out.
paragraph was basically saying you're stupid. Like, you could sum it up in one sentence as you're dumb.
Yep. Here and here again. Okay. I find it utterly impossible to have a reasonable convo with trumpets, no matter their race. I've never been accused of being a racist until now from a trumpet, ironically.
What is up with these leftists and these buzzwords, man? Trumpet, drumpf. They all use
a maggot.
the same maggots. They all use the same words. Like, you calling me a trumpet? You think you did something there? Like, you really think you did something? Jeez, man.
Here's one for you. It's always funny to me, the people that complain about derogatory terms and words create new ones themselves all the time. Like, you make pejoratives your like hobby. You make them new to other people you dislike in the same manner that you're complaining about. But we're all accepting. We love everybody except people we disagree with and who don't agree with our policies.
Yep, that's the left.
And then I will make up a word for you.
This is also what they do. Now read carefully. The only thing that's been cut is your ability to discern facts. You're not smart enough to. So smart, you can't even understand the implications to your intellect by simply sharing your views. Smart. In other words, you're a dummy. Now, mind you, you said that you never called me directly ignorant while spending 100+ comments stating the exact same thing that you said you did not say. I want to know how that makes any sense. Anyway, but you say again in reply to your own comment, this is how intelligent you are.
Oh, man.
He said, go ahead and report me too while you're at it. I didn't report anybody. That's not how I operate. That's all you can say to someone presenting you facts that you absolutely no desire to believe. Therefore, I'm the racist. I don't give an F what color you are. It's pathetic. Grow up or don't, but it's not smart. Again, ignorant. But you said if you don't do it.
I thought if according to the left's logic, if you call a black man stupid, that is racist.
For the fact of disagreeing with you because you're trying to tell him he's oppressed, that's even worse.
Yeah. I thought you were a protected class and white people weren't allowed to like say things like that because it gives into a negative stereotype, and we don't do that here because that's not according to DEI policies. You're a white man, you can't say that.
Yeah, and they do this all the time, man. And this is why I don't understand why black liberals align with these people, because they're allowed to say this stuff. Now, if a white conservative, let's say the roles are reversed, and a white conservative got up here and said the same thing to a black woke liberal, the internet would be exploding right now. But because he's on the left, it's okay to attack black conservatives. Jackals.
White liberals are allowed to be as racist as they want to be.
Openly, too.
As long as they're not another liberal of color. That's fine. As long as they are conservatives of color, you can be as racist as you want to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And here we go. He says, and it's your misperceptions. Do I think I can tell black folks what to do? Or do I think everyone should make an informed vote? Maybe save the crap for the actual racist, bro. You couldn't be more wrong. So let me get this right. I want to make sure I get this right. I'm stupid because I don't think like you.
Right.
I want to make sure I got that right. You are the one informing me of how wrong I am. I want to make sure I get that part right. By your logic, I can't educate allies. I got a question. How are you going to educate allies? Are black people your allies, or are you black people's allies? Remember, we're talking about black people.
Yeah.
So
you know what this is, Marlon?
Allies?
Marlon, you know what this is?
Which is it?
It's white splaining.
White splain. I think we should make a t-shirt about
white splaining is when a white liberal tells a black conservative how to think. Yeah, you are the phrase that they best describes this is you vote against your own interest. You know that.
Oh
one?
yeah, Marlon. Didn't we
That's
talk
white
about that?
explaining.
Didn't we talk about that backstage?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. We talked about that exact word that they use all the time. And then
that's what we should start using.
Then when you hit them with, "What are my interests?" They can't answer it.
They can't answer. No.
What are my interests? Since you know this black man, this monolithic black man,
so well,
Michael, so well. What are my interests from the time I get up in the morning to the time I go to bed? Tell me what my interests are. And they can never do it.
They should be being black. That's your interest, being black.
Yeah. Yeah. Because again, these liberals see us as what? A monolith. They think we're all the same. We think the same. We walk the same. We eat the same. We all have the same woes and plight in life. We look the same. This is how they think.
Yeah, we should make that the new word is stop white explaining to me.
And I'll put his face. By your logic, I can't educate allies. I'm not supposed to inform friends when they're wrong because I'm white. That's ignorant, bro. You don't have to listen, but it damn sure doesn't mean I'm racist.
Do you believe that they can't get voter IDs?
I have a question. So based off his logic, right? He's probably the same type of dude that says no uterus, no say so.
Yeah.
So we can't say anything to a woman because we're not a woman. Right. But he could say stuff and try to correct black people, but he's not black. Make it make sense. How can you have one and not the other? How can you not correct women because you don't have a uterus, but correct black people and you're not black?
Right.
It's the white privilege that white liberals have, that they get away with white splaining to black conservatives of how wrong they are.
Oh, and here is remember he asked about my opinion. Don't forget, I want to bring this back. Don't forget, we read before he was simply asking for my. Did he not say that? That's what he said, right? Okay. So then, when I do start giving my 2 cents, I am glad no one is relying on your judgment on anyone's character. I literally said nothing racist, nor did I imply anything that could be perceived as racist. Your mental gymnastics is good, though. That's kind of interesting to me that you say what you just said and say it with your whole face. Now, this is how I'm going to show that you are indeed a racist. Y'all ready for this?
Let's go.
All right, here we go. Because I think he needs to be shown for what he's, what he believes.
Well, here's the thing is like we have to start playing by their rules, right? Since they made the game, they laid out the board. We should play by their rules, and we should attack them for the exact same rule breaking that they're attacking everybody else for, right? If they're going to be offended by everything, well, why can't I be offended that you're saying that black people can only do a certain thing? They can only look a certain way. Right, because that's just as racist as anything else. If you say they're not capable of something, what do you think that whites are superior? And just call them out on their BS and just say that in front of their face. It's like use their logic against them.
Well, you can't really attack them in that. Well, you can, but what they'll say, in their mind they think we're wrong. So when somebody in their mind, if they think that you're 100% wrong, that logic may or may not work on it, because at the end of the day, they're always going to think you're wrong, and they're not going to listen to someone they think that's wrong.
You have to play by their worldview in order to make them break. That's exactly what you have to do.
And it will break.
Get in their head. You have to break their worldview with their own worldview is what I'm saying. So in order to beat these people, you have to actually use their logic against them in a way that breaks any semblance of what they believe. That's what you have to do.
This was one of his original statements, that he does not mess with white people. He has more. This is what he said. I have more black friends than white friends. And then he says, I mean that literally. I don't F with white folks like that, bro. Meanwhile, he has family members that are white. I hate racism. While you do racism in being racist towards white people. Do you see how stupid you are? You see how moronic you are, Timmy, too. This is how dumb you are. Wouldn't that be ironic as hell? Come on, bro. It is not ironic. It's stupid that you don't understand what racism is.
Yeah. So here's how you break the logic with that, since it's a lefty, is that you can't hold up your black friend and say, look, I'm not racist because I have a black friend. That's the logic that they use all the time, right?
Yep.
Is that you can still be racist even if you have black friends.
That's
because
right.
according to the left, because you exist with this color, this skin color right here, that means you're racist. Doesn't matter how many black friends you have. Doesn't mean you can say you're not racist all day long. You were born with inherent racism, according to the left.
That's what
according
they
to
say.
your logic.
Yep.
Just to let you know, I don't watch response videos that are a mere call for attention. How do you know it's a mere call for attention if you never watch them? Weird that you can make the assumption. So what you're telling me is that you enter into people's conversations. You have no intention of actually hearing them unless they type. And if they do make a video response, because let's be honest, it's easier, you don't watch it because you don't really want to know their opinion.
That's right.
You want to melt them down until they agree with you. I stuck up for you in my initial comment. Like I'm supposed to feel like, man, white man got my back. I should feel proud.
Yep.
I'm supposed to be glad that you stood up for me. Do I? Okay, first of all, did I ask your ignorant white cracker behind to stand up for me? No. Did I come to you and say, hey, Timmy2Times, man, this racist white dude coming after me. I'm going to need you on my side for this. Did I say that? No. You know why? Because I don't need you. I don't need your info because you know what? You're an ignorant, stupid dummy. You don't know half the stuff of what you think you know. I asked you a question about the civil rights bill. You couldn't tell me jack about it other than, well, I think it expanded voting rights. But you want to educate me? Man, miss me with that, bro. Yeah. Miss me with that. Anything I say can and has been proven. Not a damn thing you said proved anything other than that you're a racist.
Yep.
If evidence can't move you, oh well. So you don't want my opinion, but you want to have a civil conversation. How exactly would you do that? I just want to know how you do that if you're not going to listen to the other person's side.
He doesn't want to have a civil conversation.
Yeah,
and I think he wants to be able to be openly racist while aligning with a predominantly black party. So if he aligns with them, that's where most racists go. They go to the left because they can openly be racist to black people that they hate already that don't align with their ideology. They're happy that the black people that align with the Democratic Party are with them because they see them as less anyway. They see us, black conservatives, as uppity Negroes, as Joe Biden stated, years ago. They see us as uppity. They look at us as us trying to be equal in their mind to them. So he doesn't want to hear anything you say. He's never going to get into it with the black liberals because he already thinks they're beneath him. He sees the black conservative as a threat. So any video you put out, he's not going to watch because he's terrified of the fact that you're articulate, you're intelligent, you're educated, and they don't like that because he knows he would get destroyed in any type of debate.
You cannot be equal to somebody that you view as being lesser than yourself. So the Democrat ideology, the whole DEI ideology, is inherently white supremacist, and I've said this before, because they view white people and view black people as less than whites because they need help from us in order to bring them up to our level, right? So they have to be below you in order for them to be pulled up to you.
Thank you,
Marlon. We talked about that backstage too. The exact same thing he said right there.
So here's he said, I literally just named, he told me that he named some, we'll get into what he says he named, but just say you don't want to know if he's truly racist. He mentioned, of course, the proverbial Central Park 5 and the renting thing, okay? But stop being disingenuous as though you are unable to research this for yourself. I've done the research because I seek truth. You? Okay.
Oh, how many episodes have we done on that?
Here he goes. Only the black folks that support the same man that that's endorsed by the KKK. You mean Biden?
Yes.
Yeah.
Biden's homie Robert Byrd, where he spoke at his funeral.
Literally was friends with the Grand Wizard. Like how?
Now he's going to tell the truth. You can't square that circle. If it's not dumb, I don't know what to call it. All my friends are black.
I have zero trumpets.
I have a colored TV. I'm not racist because all my friends are black. I don't know if you realize this yet, Timmy2Times, but every time someone uses that statement to prove they're not racist, you sound exactly like what you say Donald Trump does.
Yeah.
Then you say that Donald Trump says, well, I've had black people that I do this with, and you call people like, what's his name? Ben Carson a token? Don't you call people like Tim Scott token because they hang with Trump?
Right.
All them Negroes that hang with you are tokens. Every last one of them. That's what you keep them around for. To tell people I have black friends.
So this is the thing. You could literally have a white guy that has a black kid with a black woman, and they would still say he was racist.
He was racist,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this guy's doing it as a way shielding himself. I'm not racist because I have black friends.
Because I have this.
But according to the left, you can't do that, and you also can't be married to a black woman and still not be racist.
And you know, if you look back, like on the plantation days, right? Do you think that some of the slave masters were actually, let's be honest here, or treated their slaves as like, you know, talk to them normal, like, hey man, you know, do you think that happened? Yes, it probably happened. Now, just because they treated some of those slaves nicely, were they not racist, or were they still racist? You know what I mean?
Probably. So, there was probably still racist. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the same concept. Just because you have black friends and you chum it up with them doesn't mean you're not racist. Because you look at other black folks, like I said earlier, other black folks who don't align with you as trash, as coons, as Uncle Toms, as sellouts. So you're a racist.
Yeah. And he's going to prove it in the next statement right here. Trumpets, no matter their race, are not objectively smart people. You said you consider me a trumpet. Good. If you say by your own admission that trumpets are not objectively smart people, they are stupid, ignorant. You don't then need to say, well, I didn't mean you directly. You said I was a trumpet. You consider trumpets this. It's what you call a logical flow to a conversation. If I'm thinking this is what these people are, and I take this person and I put them in that group, they are now part of that mentality to me.
Yeah.
So you are calling me stupid. And he said, that's not my opinion either. There's a reason Donald Trump said he loves the poorly educated, and it's not because they're smart. It was a polite stupid.
Oh,
couldn't show me where he says he likes the poorly educated, but he told me that's what Donald Trump said.
I remember the days when the Democrats said they were for the working man. You know, they were for the union. They were for the people that were less fortunate than them. I remember those days, and then they just came.
Those were good days.
Yeah, so they just went full circle to being back to antebellum Democrats. That's fine. You know, the elitists that control the black population to do their bidding. Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all.
I asked him if because you remember he said that the KKK endorsed him, Trump. I said, so did he endorse the KKK? I would think that would be because I'm having a conversation now where he wants it in the chat. I'm not making videos.
Yeah.
That's where he wanted it. He said, did he endorse the KKK? Is that a real question? No, it's not a real question at all. It just appeared there out of nowhere, and it's fake. If you're going to tell me the KKK endorsed somebody, does that mean that they back the KKK? No. So answer my question. Did he endorse the KKK? He said, did he endorse the KKK? Is that a real question? And then he said, he dog whistled the entire time he's been in office. He's also been sued 3 times for discriminating against black folks and lost all. He got you fooled. So I'm still waiting on my question to be answered, and he never did answer that question.
So here's the thing. So he's been dog whistling. I hate the term dog whistling because it just means even if it's not there, it's there, right? Because that's what they're basically saying. It doesn't. They don't have to implicitly say it's because I believe he said it. He said it, right? That's what they're going with. But then you also have Biden, who's literally said these things, hung out with Robert Burr, hung out with segregationists, right? Called black people super predators. Same thing with Hillary Clinton. They were super predators back in the 90s. Remember that? They were super predators, and we had to get them off the streets. So they created a crime bill that locked up the majority of black fathers in the 90s. But Donald Trump is the evil one here. Just I want to point that out. The guy that's been in office for 50 effing years
is not the one.
Did all of these things to disproportionately harm the black community. Is not the racist.
And you know, he doesn't want to talk about the fact. I mean, Donald Trump was also friends with like Strom Thurmond, and he even talked about how him and Strom Thurmond were chums, you know. But he doesn't want to ever bring up. They never want to bring up Biden's past. And the first thing when you ask them, when you say, "Hey, what about Biden?" He said this, and well, people change. But so Biden can change. Robert Byrd can change their ways. Biden can change his ways, but Trump. Even if he did all that, Trump can't change his ways. He's going to be held accountable for that, and he's going to be questioned about that stuff for the rest of his life, no matter how many times he says no. So they're hypocrites, man.
It's okay. He got a free pass because he grew up in a black church, remember?
Yeah, and Puerto Rican church.
Yeah, I know, right?
Timmy keeps saying his friends are black. I know, right? Timmy living large. Timmy's living large. Now, so this is where I got him. This is where I started to get him off his trend of thought, right? I said, well, because he's talking the dog whistle thing. Well, that's only the ones the whistle is for can hear it. He said, what an ignorant statement, bub. I told you earlier, literally all of my friends and family are black. I have exactly 0 white friends. What? So you don't like your mom?
Wait, so he's the token white guy?
But he don't like his mama. He don't like his daddy. He don't like his siblings because they aren't his friends. I hear the whistles because I'm not an effing idiot. Okay, let me explain a dog whistle for you. I understand a dog whistle, and I can see a dog whistle. But when a dog whistle is blown, the only people or things that hear the dog whistle are who it's for, the dog. So if you're a white dude, hear me out. If you're a white dude and you can hear racism in statements, you are racist. If you are reading in between every line to hear racist comments that are not heard, but you think you can hear them, and you say they're for racists to hear, your ass racist, bro.
Yes,
you just proved to me that you are, because you can hear it. That's kind of weird to me. It's kind of weird. It's a little bit weird. So I eventually asked him the most important question of all. What about the 65 Civil Rights Bill? He says, did it not expand voting rights and prohibit any kind of infringement on them? You tell me. And I said, nah, you're the one informing, remember? I'm the ignorant one. Your words. He never did tell me what the bill was about. All he knows that it had voting in it. But you are trying to educate me about black stuff. Kind of find that kind of hilarious that you don't know anything about MLK. You don't know anything except for clips about Malcolm X. You don't know anything about the civil rights movement. You know nothing, absolutely nothing about the history of blacks in America. You just know that they're suffering.
Yeah. But there's also a difference between how they instituted the civil rights movement versus what the left does today. Completely different things. Completely different things. And plus, funny fact here, a lot of the civil rights movement was led by Republicans. I want to point that out there. They were Republicans, and they were Christians, and they were everything you hate today.
Yep.
They were family people. A lot of the black family and church-going individuals were the ones that started the movement, and that's everything that the left hates. Everything.
Period.
Now, the next statement is going to blow your mind even more. So I asked him to show the times that Trump lost those cases, and he said, "I think you completely misunderstood the entire premise of a dog whistle." Oh, okay. The dog whistles aren't meant to be subtle.
Then it's not a dog whistle.
What?
He's insulting your intelligence. See, you remember how?
Okay, hang on.
In that very first statement where he said, "I'm not calling you ignorant," but right here he's insulting your intelligence.
Thank you.
Calling you ignorant. All right, let's hear it.
So it's not meant to be subtle to avoid being overtly racist.
Here, I'll even use the bias source Wikipedia for this.
Okay, so dog whistles are meant to be subtle to avoid being overtly racist. So why in the F would he endorse them publicly? Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. If you're trying to tell me that it's subtle, but you can hear it. And the people who are supposed to be racist, like Donald Trump, don't hear it. What does that make you? Now, mind you, he is trying to send a message to his following using a racist dog whistle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that mean that the people hearing it that follow him would know what he's saying? Ironically, the people who don't follow him are hearing something completely different. How? How, Sway? Please tell me how.
I know how.
I got the definition for you. This is coming from Wikipedia, which is a biased source, and even them saying in politics a dog whistle is the use of coded or suggestive language and political messaging to garner support from a particular group. So garner support from a particular group without provoking opposition. So I wonder if it's a dog whistle, like you said, and it can only be heard by certain individuals because it's named off of the ultrasonic dog frequency sounds, that like the sounds from the whistle. That means you have to be a part of that group in order to hear it.
But look at that last part. Without provoking opposition, which tells me that the opponent of these statements should not be able to recognize it.
That's right. Yeah. I didn't hear any dog whistle. I never heard.
It's always the left that hears it. It's only the left that ever hears dog whistles for some reason.
Let's finish cooking this dude.
It just cracks me up that this is the kind of statements you make and you don't understand that you're actually making my point for me. Yep. Open Google and do a simple search. He got sued by the DOJ in 1978 and had to pay. Then he got sued a second time because he continued to discriminate. Never tells you what that was. Then was his black employees. I'm going to hopefully have you read that again. Intellectually honest research. That last part you said, it then was his what employees? I just want to know, how come a man who does not want to rent to black people hire them? Can you explain that one to me? I'm just curious how a man so racist that he wouldn't even rent to black people, and he also would want them dead from the Central Park Five, would then proceed to hire black people. Now, also, I seem to remember that at Mar-a-Lago, he was the first to ever let black people into that compound and into a compound like it, if I remember correctly. So I'm still trying to figure out how he could be so overtly racist to the point where he's using dog whistles and still has black employees. Oh, you're going to tell me, well, he's got to cover it somehow. Kind of like you and your black friends. But when you do it, that's different, right? It's different. That means you're not racist. Yeah,
he's an ally.
Yeah, he's an ally. Yeah.
You know, didn't Donald Trump get a certain award with Rosa Parks, Muhammad Ali? You remember that award? I mean, for him to be so racist, you know, he didn't he get an award?
He did.
Standing with all those black people up there. I don't know. You know, they don't want to talk about that though. They don't want to
they can't though. They can't. And then this copy of a fool, he says this. The main difference between a smart man and an ignorant man is the ability to admit when one is wrong, as well as an ability to change one's mind based on evidence. Reality is evidence-based. Perfect. I'm glad you said that, because I'm going to use your statements. You said that an ignorant man doesn't know when to admit when he's wrong. And secondly, an ignorant man won't change his mind if he's given evidence. I have evidence that you're an ignorant man. You want to prove how? Your ignorance lies in your inability to educate people who are more educated than you on something when you told me that you knew everything about Black history. That makes you ignorant. And when I pointed that out, you didn't repent of your ways. You continue to double down like an ignorant fool, which makes you just as ignorant as you see me. Now, the second part of your statement, where it says that even when issued evidence, you never issued evidence. In fact, you told me to go find the evidence. All you did was give me a direction. You are yet to present any. You know why? Because you don't make content. And because you don't make content, you don't have any concept of how to deliver information. So I can understand that. So in the long grand scheme of things, who's really the ignorant one? If I were to ask this fool today, give me the history of black education in America, you know, he would tell me, I don't know about anything like that.
Oh.
Then his final salvo that I want to tackle would be this one. You're defending a man. Meanwhile, I was not defending Trump. I'm simply asking him why he hates him so much. This is why I'm the ignorant one, but he can't keep track of conversations. You're defending a man that wouldn't even rent a property to you. Think about that before disparaging someone else's mental acuity. You're assuming that I would need to rent from Donald Trump. Also, you're assuming one other very big thing. Every one of his tenants that wanted to be there were black. Well, now, why, if he was a known racist, why would any black person want to rent from him? I don't recall black people back in the day clamoring to get into racist facilities. Was that a thing?
No, they had their stuff, and the other side had theirs.
It's kind of,
they were happy.
Kind of weird. And when I asked him about the civil rights bill, especially, he never came back to answering, even though he says a simple Google search for everything else, because I had asked him how you could find all this stuff about Trump, but you can't find any information about the civil rights bill. Why would you need me? Aren't you the intelligent one? Go look up the civil rights bill and what it had in it. No, you want me to educate you all of a sudden about black things. You're busy telling me about a white dude. I'm asking about your allyship to black people, and you can't tell me nothing about black people. You don't know what Malcolm X did. You don't know what Martin Luther King did. You have no idea about anything black history. But you want me to consider you an ally and to listen to you because I'm ignorant, because I don't believe like you.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you tell a racist. You want to know how you tell? They have terms like Timmy here. They will speak like Timmy. And the very first defense of them not being racist will be like him and Jolly Ginger. I have black friends and I'm an ally. You know who else was like that? Massa. Massa was exactly that. Now listen, boy, this is for your own good now. Make sure you take him around back. I don't want nobody seeing none of this here, boy. Come on, boy. I'll take you out of that there school. Come on now, son. Come on.
Yeah,
that's what you sound like, Timmy. That's
boss man knows best.
That's who you sound like, Timmy. You are indeed a blatant, disgusting, nasty-filled, hate-filled, probably even bisexual or gay racist.
And you know, another question, Marlon, why is it, and we've asked this question many times, why is it that they always only go after black men mainly and black conservatives?
Yeah, it's always black men.
It's always, it doesn't matter whether it's other black
Candace
black
too.
People, whether it's other black people, whether it's white liberals, whether it's Hispanic, whether it's anybody, they always attack the black man when it comes to how we vote. Why is that?
Because they got nothing better to do.
Because they can't have you not voting for the Democrats. That's literally what it comes down to. But here's the thing. One of the things I wanted to point out with his thing was the 1973.
Yeah, he said 78. So hold on, he said 78, no, it was actually right.
Yeah, it was 70. It was 73. It was settled in 75, right? So, and I want to point something out.
He's adding 5 and 3 to get 8. That's what he's doing.
Yeah. Okay, that's what it was. But anyway, so the settlement was ended in the lawsuit with Trump's to explicitly acknowledge that it did not require that they explicitly acknowledge the discrimination had occurred, but the government's description of the settlement said that Trump and his father had failed to and neglected to comply with the Fair Housing Act. So the government said that they did do the thing, but they didn't say they had to accept acknowledgement. So there was a settlement. That was it. So it came down, he didn't lose. There was a settlement. And here's the thing. How old do you think Trump is in 1975?
Old, like in his 80s, isn't he?
No. I'm serious. How old do you think he is?
In 1975, he was 30 something.
Yeah, he's 29 years old. Who do you think is running the Trump organization at this time?
Daddy.
Yeah. Daddy is running this. So they make it about Donald Trump, but what it really was probably was his dad. It was his father's policies in these Trump buildings that was leading everything. He was 29 years old. He was not running dick at that time in 1975. I'm sorry. Like you can say it was Trump's doing, but you're trying to jump through hoops to connect it to him. What it probably was his daddy, just like Joe Biden in that area, in that time frame, probably thought exactly the same thing, right? Because like that's the same sort of age group that Robert Byrd and all these other people were, right? And being New York Democrats probably didn't help that. I would say.
Here's the other thing: if you want to link Trump to his daddy, we can link Hunter to his daddy.
Yeah.
See what you call fair exchange, no robbery. If you want to say that this person is this way because of that person, guess what? Biden is corrupted the same way his son is. Ain't that weird?
Yep.
Right. So like that's the thing. Is like they want to connect it to Trump so bad, but he was only 29 years old at the time. If you think that his dad was relinquishing control of the corporation to his son at that time, you're wrong. I'm sure that's not what it was. So like even then, like I said, I don't think that's right. Did it happen? It probably happened. That's the thing. But I don't think he was ultimately responsible because he wasn't really controlling the company at the time. He just was named in the lawsuit. Just because you're named in a lawsuit doesn't mean you're the one responsible for something, right? You can name anybody and their mother in a lawsuit for anything.
Yes, precisely.
So like that's the way I would look at it. Like legitimately thinking about it, he's not in control of the Trump organization. His father is. Fred Trump is the one responsible. If anybody had to be responsible for it, is what I mean.
Right. But you see, but the problem is they will not want to admit that. They can't admit that. In order to admit that, they would have to prove to themselves that something is wrong with their belief structure. They can't afford that because that's their entire foundation. The same way when I asked him about the Civil Rights Bill and the act, the only thing he can harp on was voting because that's all he hangs around. The nonsensical and the topical one. He doesn't even dive into to see exactly how they got to that point. And he doesn't even know the difference, I'm betting you, between the 1964 version and the 65 version. I bet you he couldn't tell you what was taken out and what was added in between the 64, well, late 63, 64 version and the final codified one in 65. I bet you he couldn't tell you that.
Well, that's also the thing that people tend to forget, that the Democrats were responsible for the Civil War. The Republicans just became a party at the beginning of the Civil War, which is why Lincoln was elected, because it was an anti-slavery party, right? So there's also the other kind of elephant in the room is that Democrats up until this point have always existed since the beginning of this country and have always been absolutely a racist party.
Mm-hmm.
Has always been, never changed. There was no flip. There was no change. These people have always been the beginnings of the KKK, segregation, and discrimination. Always. They just found a new way to spin it to make it more acceptable to you.
Period.
Yep.
And that is Tommy. That's how you tell a racist. A racist will always tell you they're racist by telling you they're not racist.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll tell you they're not racist in the most racist way. I have black friends.
and he's not the only one. You see him riddled throughout social media. There's always these white liberals that think they know what's best, and they always tell you you're wrong for voting this way. You're voting against this. You're voting against this. Donald Trump wouldn't have done this for you back in the 70s. Well, if you want to go back, let's go back to Joe Biden. Joe Biden would have locked me up for a piece of crack. Biden would have locked me up for a piece of crack that big. Joe Biden has done 10 times way more because he was a politician at the time, but you guys will never, ever call him out for the blatant racist things he has done. Yeah. You'll just say, oh, he changed his ways.
Here's
make sense, left.
It's just funny to me because, like you said, the Joe Biden has done more detrimental things to the black population than Donald Trump could ever hope to have done if he is in fact a racist, is what I'm saying.
He's a poor one.
Joe Biden has already done the damage.
Yep.
I have never seen a worse racist in my life. Like, Trump is one of the most pitiful racists ever out there. Like, I don't even know how he functions in the world of racism, being this horrible at it. Now Joe. Now, please, people, don't forget that Joe has constantly told black people they're not cultured. They have no diversity. Only one of them that he knows of is a clean-cut, articulate dude. This is him. His words. He doesn't repent of the crime bill. In fact, he says, I would make sure people know I'm the one that wrote it. That's what he wants people to understand. So if you want to talk about an existence of anything systemic or systematic, talk to your boy.
Yeah. It's funny that in the same presidency, Joe Biden helped write the crime bill, and then they instituted the 3 Strikes Act, which put more, as they say, according to their logic, put disproportionately more black men in prison than anybody else. Was the Democrats that did that. The Democrats did that to you and your community, but you still want to blame the Republicans for everything.
Odd balls, man.
I know,
it makes
right?
No sense. Yeah, and one of the reasons is because they are taught, like Martin Coy alluded to earlier, the party switch. You know, this is why they think the way that lie. They think about the party switch. So this is why they will never give Republicans, credit for pushing the Civil Rights Act multiple times. That was denied by Democrats multiple times. Even if you look at the current, the one that was passed, you look at how many Republicans voted yes for it and how many Democrats voted no. If you look at the past, if you look at Jim Crow was a what? Democrat. If you look at Strom Thurmond left the Democratic Party because they gave the black civil rights, and he tried to create what? The Dixiecrats. How many of them left? I think 2, 3.
2. Yeah, and there were a couple of Congress people that switched affiliations, and half of them were all independent. That they didn't go to the Republicans.
And and Joe Biden said publicly that Strom Thurmond, a guy who left the Democratic Party because the civil rights was passed, was his friend. Yeah, you are who you hang out with.
Here's the thing. The only reason that the Democrats ever went to try to help with civil rights was because they were losing the vote. It was the Southern strategy, because guess where the majority of black people are is in the South. I've shown you the map. I've literally shown you the map where everybody is. The majority of the black population is in the South. Historically, they tried to keep black people from, especially Northern Democrats, tried to keep black people from heading north, and they kept them in the South, because even after the Civil War, they didn't want them up there either. Right.
So they migration. This is why you saw migration.
Even these anti-slavers didn't want the people they wanted to free in the North with them. I just want to point that out as a historical fact here. So like it's never been for the good graces of these poor individuals. It's always been for the outcome at which they want to have happen. So they want the votes that they give them power. The reason why they attack black Republicans is because they cannot lose 13%. Right. Or was it 10%? I don't remember. It's a certain percentage of the black vote. As soon as they lose that, they never get elected again.
Oh, it's going to happen this next election. So
yeah. So like that's why the black population is currently being replaced with illegal migrants. Or even migrants in themselves, because the black population has still yet to increase. It's always been around the same 13% of the population.
They're just lying about that number. But
yeah. The population in the United States still keeps growing, but that percentage still stays the same, no matter how many increase, is what I mean.
Yeah, that's a lie. That's already been proven false. And they know that we haven't just stayed at 13% for this many years. That's a total lie. They just don't want to say we're more. This is why they make other races white. If I worked in a jail, whenever you look at a Hispanic,
that's true. Okay.
They go white. And when they say Asian, white passing, they don't label them as a certain thing, because the only 2 races they really count are the black and white. Mm-hmm. So anybody that's not black is counted under the white vote. This is why they're saying that black people are only at 13%, but it's a lot more. But if people look at the Civil Rights Act, how us and other black conservatives, don't talk too highly about the Civil Rights Act, because it was never really about black people, like Coy stated. There's a lot of other things tied to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And all the nefarious things got tied to it.
Yeah.
It's always a calculated outcome with the Democrats. It's whatever benefits their power.
Yeah.
And you saw it in the debate last night. You saw it blatantly in the debate last night, because if you watch how things work out, look, if you genuinely believe, hear me out. If people genuinely believed that black people are sold 100% to the Democrats and they are for the benefit of black America, you would never have to demean, deride, or try to detract them from an opposing point of view. if there was not something that you're trying to hide from them.
Yep.
If you are that confident in what you offer, you know what you could do? You could leave the market open for them to go out and find for themselves what they want. But you don't want that, which is why Trump scares you. Your reason why it's not even about whether Trump offers anything for Black America. He's just an opposing viewpoint to what you want to do with Black America. And I'm talking about the Democrats. You don't want them to know anything else but what you put in front of them. That's slavery. That's plain and simple slavery. This is why we try to tell people, look, if you want to vote Democrat, vote Democrat. Anybody stopping you, but don't try and tell me how I should vote. I have the choice to do opposing things all the time. If your decision is Democrats offer you more, you should be able to tell me what they offer you, right? However, when you ask them, they don't tell you. If you were to ask a Republican or a conservative Black person what they want, they can tell you, and they can tell you who offers it.
Yep.
And they'll tell you, this is why I'm voting for that person. You can't find and I'm dead serious about this, you can't find a single lefty that can give you a policy that will help them. They can't. Not once have they been able to do it.
Yeah.
And what they use in media, especially these days, they use people like Joy Reid. Who is that chick from The View, the Puerto Rican Black, whatever her name is?
Oh, yeah.
They use people like them, and they get on camera and they tell you to your face how this is. No, the other one, the Black chick, or is she Black?
Oh, Sunny Hostin.
Sunny.
Yeah.
So they get on there and use people like that look like you, and they get up there and tell you blatantly what they actually think of Black people. They say Black women are not going to allow Black men to vote for Donald
like that.
Trump.
There you go.
To vote like that. They are going to drag these Black men to the polling station and make them vote for Democrats.
You know what that reminds me of is how slave masters would control Black men was by threatening
the women.
And I was going to say that if you go all the way back to Willie Lynch, get Willie Lynch is to make the Black man weak, to not think for themselves, and the Black woman is supposed to guide them. And Sonny told us to our face exactly what she thinks about the Black man.
Heck, even what's her name, the white witch that talked about 50 Cent. Doesn't he know he's a Black man and he can't vote for Trump? This is not a one-off. This is what exactly they do. When Ami went on the road and started asking all these white liberals about Black people, Blacks are stupid. They don't know about the internet. How did they go know? They can't get to the polling. That's what they think. We've been trying to tell you all for a long time. That's what they think. But if that's how you want to vote, you know what?
It's amazing to me, but he probably dodged a bullet that she aborted his baby. So I'm just like thinking to myself, is like you have one more kill than most racists do. And
it's funny how a lot of these Black liberals don't see it. You know, it's so obvious to Black conservatives what they're doing. They think so low of you. They think so low. You have Black people in the media pandering the racist Democratic Party's talking points, telling Black people that you can't get an ID, that you don't know how to use the internet, that you're disenfranchised, that you're a victim. And these rich Black people are up there telling you you're not going to make it. Instead of sitting up there telling you, look at me. Here's what I did in order to get where I'm at. They don't want you there. Yep. They don't. They want us down there with the Democrats playing victim. They don't want you switching over because on the right, they preach individualism. You can do whatever you have to do to get out where you're at. They don't want us that because they want us on the government's tip.
Yeah.
And once they lose that power of Black people, clamming to the government, they'll never get elected again. And they know this.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the kind of conservative nature is that we view everybody equally. And then sometimes being equal sucks for everyone because you're given an opportunity to be better, but not everybody is going to be able to achieve that. That's just the truth, the reality. That's the truth of the world. Not everybody gets dealt a good hand of cards. But if you keep saying you're a victim and you put yourself down, then you're never going to achieve anything. Hence why the conservative idea is that you can do anything as long as you put your mind to it. That's why we have Black billionaires in the United States, because they were able to do that.
The system was never created for equal outcome. And that's what people have to understand. The Democrats, they want equal outcome for everybody. So it doesn't matter what you do. Doesn't matter what your skill set is. It doesn't matter. You're all going to get no matter how hard you work, it's all going to be equal at the end. The right doesn't push that. The harder you work, the more you get. The lazier you are, the less you get.
And so we will end with that statement by the great Sonny.
Yep, here it is.
Here we go.
% of Black registered voters identify as or lean Democratic. 81% of Black men, 81% are in the Democratic Party. So I don't want to hear anymore that Black men are voting for Trump. Black women resoundingly will show up for Biden, and they're going to bring their sons, they're going to bring their grandsons, they're going to bring their husbands, and the Black vote will turn out for President Biden.
Just so you know, Black men, you have no say, okay?
Yep.
The women are going to tell you what to do. Just so you know.
Yeah.
The same way they kicked you out the house, remember? At the behest of who? Massa. All I'm saying, that's what is going to happen again. They keep telling you that you're nothing. Okay? White men treat you the same way as liberal Black women and white women. You are nothing. You do what they say, and you do it happily. You need to be a simp. The instant you become something other, you're toxic.
Yep. I want to point out here is like, how much more do these people have to tell you the truth for you to believe them? Because they've done everything in their power to not only throw your men in jail and then kill your babies, right? Disproportionately to anybody else in the United States. And so you have no choice but to obey us. Right? Because that's what it really comes down to. They have destroyed your families. They destroyed the Black community through prison and then also abortion. And they still keep pushing this idea of the strong female that can do no wrong, which destroys the family even further. So they've done everything in their power to destroy your family, and yet you still keep handing them the keys to your house.
And here's what I have to say. I know we mentioned Willie Lynch. So if you haven't read the Willie Lynch letters, everyone needs to read it, and then you'll understand why Black America is the way it is now. Willie Lynch was part of this. So go read it, and you'll see why the dynamic of a lot of Black families
Just watch our episode.
Are the way they are, because all that was handed down. This is why, as Coy stated, you have these independent Black women, these bosses, these masculine Black women that are controlling these Black men. And like Sonny said, you're going to see it. It ain't going to be me. It ain't going to be Marlon. I know that. But you're going to see it. These powerful Black women, these queens, are going to drag their Black men, no matter, they don't know how he wants to vote. They don't understand. And they're going to make him vote the way she sees fit.
And that's
their way. Yep. That's what they're planning. Yep.
How do you control the Black population? By emasculating the Black men and keeping them locked up. Right. That's what it is.
That's exactly.
And it's been working. But we're just trying to wake you up. We're just trying to help you. If you don't want help, you don't want help. That's okay. We don't need to take it. That's okay. I'm not trying to tell you how to. I'm not trying to tell you how to. You say I'm not racist like that. However, I am Black. So
I have Black friends. It's fine.
I have white friends. I'm not fully Black Panther. I got it all. So we'll catch up on Monday. Lee had to work today, in case y'all wondered. And we're going to start testing a thing here next week. Hopefully we'll implement it. We might do a couple more shows in the week on Rumble, because we're going to try and meld the Hooch and Sab and these guys together. So we've got some big things coming, especially now we broke a nice little milestone in the 2,000 area there. So be sure y'all keep up with the page. We'll be back again on Wednesdays. Too Strong will be on tonight in an hour. And we will be discussing a lady by the name of Michelle LeMay. And if you don't know about her, you're going to know about her tonight. She different. She's a wow. She's a wow one. So we'll talk about her. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll catch you guys on Monday on the Savage Patriots. We out. Peace.
War.